7 minutes after 10, Wednesday morning, Williamsville morning caffeine, Dave Wolf and Randy Rhodes on a screen somewhere near you. And naturally, I get a phone call in the middle of it, but it's a call that I don't need. So, excuse me, we'll go and listen to it later. Good morning, Mr. Rhodes. What's on your mind to start things off as I
well, I keep saying that I can't find a conservative news network that is actually free. I don't know why they have to have money, whereas the liberal news broadcasts are free for the most part. So I was catching up on some liberal news, but I only watched it because, you know what? The shoe's on the other foot now, because now they are throwing Biden to the wolves. That debate did him in. The news this morning, CBS News, was stating that the donors are starting to panic. They don't know where to place their money. They don't know who to place their money into. And they're in a frenzy trying to figure out what to do. A lot of them are starting to say to Biden that he should drop out of the race. They're talking about having an open convention. There's discussion that they think maybe Kamala should step in. I just saw that the family is at Camp David right now. Discussion whether or not Biden should stay in the running. That debate did him in. The people are afraid of what the next 4 years might play out should he cheat and win. And they don't paint a very pretty picture. Our allies are running scared. Our enemies are jumping in the streets with glee. And I didn't realize it until it was pointed out to me the other day on the news that the doors now at the White House, unless that was an AI scenario, are actually set to open and close as he walks towards them to prevent him from trying to figure out how to open up the doors. I mean, it is bad enough that he does not know how to open or close the door behind him. That is pretty sad. But I did take notice to it when he was done speaking, as he walked towards the door swung open and then waited a few seconds and swung back down, closed. So as far as, the Democrats being in a turmoil, I'm happy as, stink on shit. I just, I'm finally pleased to see that, someone else is starting to suffer from the whole scenario. I know Trump's been running a bunch of ads, addressing the issue of the mental capacity or lack thereof of Biden. Biden can't, he shouldn't be running.
He should not be.
But at the same time, the Republicans should be in a position now, because I'm sure they got enough Democrats to jump on board to use that 25th Amendment, I think it is, where they can kick his ass out because of mental incapacities. They better do it, and better do it soon.
But they don't. I don't know if Congress can do it. The way I understand it is the Vice President, Kamala Harris, would have to go before the cabinet, the 5 cabinet secretaries, and then explain it to them, and then they cast a vote. I don't know if she casts a vote. I've never asked or looked into it to find out. It would not make sense for her to cast a vote because it involves her becoming president. So naturally, she's going to vote for herself to become president. The problem, as I said, the first time I brought it up, going back 6 months, a year ago worth of shows, was that his cabinet secretaries probably don't want to be the cabinet secretary, the Democrat cabinet secretaries that, for all intents, sakes, and purposes, impeach him as president. Nancy Pelosi would not want to be the Speaker of the House with a Democrat majority, and Chuck Schumer having the Democrat majority over in the Senate. They would not want to be the Senate Majority Leader and Speaker of the House as Democrats that impeach a Democrat president. I'm sure either Mike Johnson being a Republican, I would assume if he agrees that Biden should no longer be president, that the Republicans will vote with him and they have the majority. When it gets to the House, we run into the same problem that the Democrats ran into with President Trump both times. The Senate majorities decided not to, or the Senate majority leader decided not to take it up both times, so he didn't have to resign. This is a little bit different, that with Joe's cognitive abilities, plus he doesn't fall under the crimes that he could be convicted of. He does not fall under immunity, as we discussed last night with Ray and Jen, because most of his crimes are not within the scope, or the crimes that he's accused of are not within the scope of his constitutional power as president. The Constitution seems to be very clear that you cannot, you cannot do a quote unquote witch hunt on your main political opponent, hoping that you get your main political opponent convicted of crimes so that he can't run, or you get him convicted of anything that makes him have to step down or think that he has to step down. You're not allowed to do that. And I would imagine that at the second debate, if Joe Biden decides to show up for it, it's going to be Trump going all over him with, Joe, this is what you're doing. This is what America knows what you're doing. Blah, 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 blah. Now you take your minute and you reply. And he's just going to look like an idiot because he's not going to be able to think a complete thought to respond to everything. I don't know if they're allowed to, as the other candidate, if Trump is speaking, I don't know if Biden is allowed to make notes on what he wants to respond to, or if Trump is allowed to make notes for themselves. That's different than worrying about someone that's talking to either one of them in an earpiece or sign language or whatever, telling them what to do or say. But I would believe that.
I took notice it looked like Biden was writing down notes while Trump was talking.
Okay, but I would imagine that that's okay. But I would imagine that the amount of notes that Joe would have to write so he could clearly speak, what's going to happen is that Trump will finish his 2 minutes answering a question, turn it over to Joe, and he's still writing what he wants to be able to try to nail Trump on. And I know that with cognitive difficulties, that can be, you can't write it down fast enough. Plus, you can't remember fast enough sometimes. I can have a conversation with you or Jen or anyone, and a lot of times in 10 minutes, if you ask me to repeat it back to you, I can't do it. It's just, it's not as bad as Joe, but it could get to that point. But I guess that I might be an exception to the Republicans. I would be very happy if he stepped down as candidate for the 2024 election. I think it's a little too much asking him to step down as president, because you put Kamala in for about 5 months, and if she's not up to date exactly on what he's doing as president right now, it doesn't make sense to me to change. And if you if you make him resign, I mean, I don't know. I just think it messes us up more. Plus, Kamala is going to then feel that she should be the Democrat candidate, and that can of worms hasn't opened up yet because I don't think she understands that she's not going to be their candidate regardless. You said open convention. Yeah, I fully am convinced at this point it's going to be a brokered convention, meaning that anybody and everybody is going to nominate themselves to run against Joe at the Democrat convention to become the nominee. But then my question that we didn't seem to answer last night was, if you're a delegate who is pledged to Biden from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and you get to the convention on the 19th and Joe's not a nominee, what happens? Because you're pledged to go to that convention and vote for Joe Biden. The people that made you a delegate sent you there to vote for Joe Biden. They didn't send you there to vote for Kamala Harris. They didn't send you there to vote for Gavin Newsom. They didn't send you there to vote for Big Mike. Plus, I don't think Big Mike is going to show up and be interested in it anyway, because I think it opens the can of worms Big Mike doesn't want open. So, I just think that I think the next thing that we haven't seen yet is that Joe Biden or his advisors may go through his constitutional powers and see if there's anything in his constitutional powers that allows him to delay an election or cancel an election. Right now, if he did, I would imagine that even Democrats would back Republicans going to the Supreme Court and saying, right now, we need an emergency Supreme Court hearing on this. You got to drop everything and you got to rule on this, because here we have someone who is clearly not eligible or not able to be president, wants to delay the election, either so they can find someone to run in his place, or he can find a doctor who says he's capable of being president. So it's just a mess on their end. And I think if they do manage to delay an election or cancel, if they manage to delay an election, the day of that election, I think he's going to find that the Democrats will find that they have been voted out. Because I just think that even Democrats are tired of all this crap. I don't agree with a lot of people who say that the rank and file or the everyday Democrat or the everyday Republican isn't well aware of what is going on. I think they're both well aware of what is going on, understand what is going on, but don't know how to correct it.
Going back, like 10 paragraphs.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Did you make notes?
Yeah,
make notes?
I made some mental notes so they don't stick very long. But you mentioned about Kamala Harris. First off, the Democrats don't want her in charge. Okay,
right.
They've made it quite, and the donors, according to CBS News, has made it quite clear they don't want her in charge. Okay, to be honest with you, I don't think she wants to be in charge. Look at the way she handles herself, the way she talks. When she gets in front of a podium and a microphone, she talks like she's talking to a kindergarten class or even preschool sometimes when she talks. So that woman does not belong in the White House, period, but we got stuck with her. I truly believe that she believes that she does not deserve to transition to the president, even if it's only for a couple of months. But at the same time, we can't afford to have this man maintain the presidential office for the last 4 or 5.5 months that we have left. I just heard also on CBS News that the Democrats have approved more money to Ukraine. I mean, how much more money are these Democrats planning on giving to Ukraine before they hopefully lose office, lose power?
Maybe all of the donations that they got for Joe Biden, because I would wonder if Joe Biden is not the nominee and you donated money to the Biden campaign because you wanted him to be the nominee, do you have a right to ask for your donation back?
I don't know. I would have to think
probably not.
If you donate money to a cause and you haven't changed the heart, you're not going to get it back. Or in the process, they'll make you out to be the asshole because so you wanted to give them the money, and now because of this, you want to take their money back. What kind of Democrat supporter are you? Blah 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 blah. You're poor. You're sad. So yeah, I don't see anyone getting their donation money back. I think what they ought to do though is to make themselves feel better is to give an equal dollar amount to the Republican Party.
The problem is, you're right, but not everybody. If you donated, whatever the maximum limit is, $1,000. Not everybody has that $1,000 to counter to.
Right.
Trump.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't know what the next. We're here with July, August, September, October, November. So we have 4 months and a couple of days left. Okay. I don't know what to expect. I hear so many people are talking about we're going to be at war, either with ourselves or with Russia. I think it's going to be sooner at war with Russia than ourselves. Because to be honest with you, I don't think the American people, these civilians, have the balls anymore to stand up to for a cause. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Otherwise, this never would have happened. I mean, when this election was stolen 4 years ago, if we on the right had the balls to stand up and make our voices heard, we would have turned it around. And we would put, Biden, not Biden, but we would put Pence in his place and convince him to change his damn mind and call the shots and get the votes redone. But we didn't because we don't have the balls to fight anymore.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I don't think our military does. Our military, I've been seeing some pretty disturbing videos coming out of sneak previews that people take with their cameras just to show what's going on the bases. We have a sad military. Now I'm sure that there are some who wear the uniform who are still die-hard, true blue soldiers who will fight and die for this country. But I think if you go into combat, it used to be, who do you want to spend your last few hours in a trench with, as far as the soldier next to you, because it boils down to you have to trust the man standing to either side of you to get you into combat and out of combat, or alive, or at least in a whole. And when you can't depend on the soldiers on either side of you because of their own personal newfound lifestyles, I would hate to go into combat, and here you are, you're face down in the dirt, and you're shooting your machine gun, and you're throwing your hand grenades, and shit's falling around you. There's explosions all around you, and your buddies are being blown up, side by side, and here this guy comes next to you, I'll save you, and the guy's wearing a dress. I don't know if I could trust a person like that, because when I don't even want to talk about that. I know sometimes Jerry watches the show. I don't want to get him upset. Me talking about
that's okay.
But
then if if anybody watches the show and they get that upset, they'll come on and they'll talk about why they're that upset.
You know, I just believe that if a person wants to pretend that they're a woman and wear the makeup and they got permission from their officers to, they can now wear the dresses and bullshit, how are they going to be in a combat scenario? Because will they take on, will their, how's this going to come across? It's going to come across well, but who cares? A soldier has to be able to carry his weight or more to be a man that you can depend on in combat. Because if my ass gets shot and I can't on my own leave the combat field, and I need help getting back to be helicoptered out to the medvac, and the guy that's next to me I know is a transgender, is he going to, is his mind going to kick in to use his masculine abilities to pick my ass up and carry me, or is going to trigger, his, the female part of him, and he's not going to be able to carry my weight because he's now, a female, if you get my drift.
I get what you're saying. I'm not sure, because I think if you give adrenaline and the scientific talk of adrenaline.
Thank you. Yes, adrenaline. That's what I was trying to think of.
If you give that some credit, then I think you have human bodies, whether they're male or female, if they're getting shot at, their brain thinking is, I got to get me and everybody else out of here as quickly as I can, and that's what those people are going to do. I could be wrong, but I don't know. But then I kind of kick it down to a step further. That it's like if parents of transgendered sports kids in high school, athletes in high school, want to have their kids play, then maybe they have to add a transgender team, and that means that you may have to have transgender coaches, and it means that you may have to have a transgender locker room and shower facilities and all of that. And I think when parents hear that, they start worrying about, now it's more money because we have to build facilities for them. And if we start into facilities for them, maybe someone's going to come along and say our school, which is 250 years old, has to be rebuilt. And, it's just going to start conversations that nobody wants to have. But it could be, maybe it needs to be the same in the military. That, if they want to serve, maybe they have to have their own units that go out and serve. But it's not taking what other broadcasters have said, where they feel that if women are allowed to serve, you have to lower the standards for women. No, that's not true. It has to be an equal standard for everyone. And if you can't cut it, then you don't serve. Because if you're a guy and you can't hit the male standards in order to get in, odds are, well, now I don't know, but in the past they would take you because you were a guy, and if they had to beef you up so that you were strong, that's what they did. If you were out running drills all night long when everybody else was sleeping, then that's what they did. But or they found something else for you to do. So I don't really know. Good morning, Danny Campbell, who is watching, and Daniel Smith is watching. And for those of you who are watching, we're live on my profile on Facebook. We're in about 1,000 groups on Facebook this morning. We're on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and if you follow me on X at BoogieWTBull, we are live there. There's no live chat on my Twitter profile. There is a live chat on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and on here on Facebook. And if you're watching over on Street Lock, you can use the Boogie with the Bull YouTube live chat to join us. So please do. Anyway, I'm sorry, Randy, I cut you off, but that's what I always do. That's what I get paid to do.
How old is Barron, Trump's son?
I believe he is 18. He may have to be 18. He may have to be 18 in order to be a delegate, because in order to be a delegate, I'm sure you have to vote. And in order to vote,
I was just looking here on the news feed. Just so you know, folks, I have 4 screens running here. So if you see my head turned to the side, I'm not ignoring Dave or anyone else. Right. I'm keeping up with the news feed.
And I have 4 screens doing production, so if I'm not looking at Randy, I am listening to him. So, but anyway,
so what came across my news desk here in Studio 6 is that you just mentioned about the delegate. Apparently, he was offered the job as a delegate for Florida, but Mommy Dearest stepped in and said no, he will not be accepting that position. In fact, she goes on. She says that Melania Trump lands deal with husband Donald over her future role if he wins the second term. So if he wins the second term, Melania will not be seen as the first lady in the White House. She will be assuming her full-time duties as the mother of Barron Trump. I'm thinking to myself, good God, the kid's 18 and Mommy Dearest is going to be hovering over him.
Well, I realize I don't know if it's hovering over him, but I kind of agree with her that she doesn't want her children growing up in the White House. And while Barron is at home and Barron is her youngest child, or Barron is the youngest of the Trump children, he shouldn't be living in the White House. When she needs to be there as First Lady with President Trump, I'm sure she will be. I'm sure Joe Biden doesn't, may not always be living in the White House with Joe, but she's there when she's needed.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I just, I guess I'm traditional, and the traditional part of me says that, okay, if I'm the president of the United States, my wife is going to be in the White House doing the first lady thing, which is, decorating the White House for Christmas and for Easter, and being in charge of the Easter egg hunt and creating some type of something special.
Right, I don't know if that's what she's saying, that she's not going to do any of that. I think she's just saying, sort of along the line of what Jimmy Carter said when he was growing up in the White House, leave her alone. I think what Melania is saying, I'm just going to not have him at the White House so that you can't bother Barron so he grows up, because it wouldn't be Barron's fault that that his father is president. And, they shouldn't be taking, no one should be taking that out on Barron.
I do know that Barron is extremely intelligent. I believe he fluently speaks 3 different languages.
Seven.
I
heard it was 6, and someone corrected me. It's actually 7, and they are 7. There are 7 languages that Melania is fluent in.
Did you hear about the Russia has mishap when it drops a Fab 3000 bomb on its own village, wiping out the village? Oopsie.
I did just get a quick note from a reliable source. I won't name them, but they are a reliable source. Heavy rumors that Biden will drop out and the convention will nominate Kamala Harris. 49% chance Biden stays in the race. 36% chance Harris is on the ticket. 14% rest of the field. Newsom, Whitmer, anybody could could grab it. I'll look into reading up what I can and have more for tomorrow night. But like I said, the source is very very accurate, and often will drop something on me that I have to go and follow up on, of course. But yeah, so I trust that if they say heavy rumors, that it is heavy. It might be actually more than heavy rumors. But we talked last night with Ray and Jen that everybody seems to be in agreement that Biden needs to drop out of the 2024 election. I don't know if everybody agrees on what happens. Does he remain president and finish out the term? The real honest answer should probably be no, because if you don't want him to be your president in 2025 after he gets inaugurated to a second term, then you probably don't want him to be the president right now. And my comments before where I said it kind of throws us into a catastrophe situation only because we don't know, as Joe Biden's vice president, how involved in exactly what is going on in the office of the president that Kamala Harris is, or any vice president is. So you have to figure, now we got to bring, it could take 5 months to bring Kamala up to speed on what's going on around the world, and she's no longer president. And in the meantime, during those 5 months, you keep saying that if Vladimir Putin doesn't back down and wait for Donald Trump to be elected in 2024, he's just going to say screw it and go into Ukraine and do some damage. And if NATO gets involved, then Biden will bring the then Biden and or Harris, whoever is the president at that time, has to bring in the United States, and it gets ugly. And I understand something. I have to really go back and dig it all up or talk to people that actually know. But supposedly during wartime, it may be possible for a president to say no election. I don't know if they have to say when it will be, delay it, or just say there's not going to be an election, and I can continue to be president. Daniel Smith says Kamala Harris won't be on the ticket as president. The Democrats don't like her. The Democrats are to divide. You're 100% right, Daniel. And I apologize for reading it only because some comments made on the Facebook side don't always get to the broadcast screen, so I can highlight them and put them in. So I apologize for actually having to read it and not highlight it. But then you have a lot of people that don't believe, we talked about it yesterday, that don't believe per se that Biden will necessarily drop out of the race and or step down as president because he's just not going to do it. He's so convinced that he's going to be the next president that, maybe that's why cognitive testing should not only be forced on him, but a requirement if he's going to run. Actually, it should be on both of them because Donald Trump said that the last time made it sound like the last time he had it done was back when Ronnie Johnson was the White House doctor. Ronnie Johnson now is a senator from the great state of Texas. So maybe they have to find an independent doctor within the government for both of them to go and have testing done. And it's not this, you can't say, no, I'm not going to do it. If you say, no, I'm not going to do it, then maybe the Supreme Court has to say, no, you're not going to run. Speaking of the Supreme Court and our favorite bartender turned Congresswoman from New York, I just think, and I should have said it more clearly last night, I just think that the Democrats, talked her up, told her that she was going to go onto the floor of the House and introduce action to impeach justices from the Supreme Court or the entire Supreme Court, because they know when it backfires, she's most likely going to get booted from the House. And if she's up for re-election right now, I would imagine that even Democrats would vote against her, because I believe when most people hear the Supreme Court, they still believe that the Supreme Court's main responsibility is to interpret the Constitution the way it was written and apply the Constitution applicably to whatever cases
but
they are looking at.
But you have the recent decision from the Supreme Court to if I'm understanding it correctly, the Supreme Court saying that those who are accused about J6 and are currently in prison should have their sentences overturned and released, and any future claims to criminal charges are to be dropped from any future J6ers. But now you have, but that, so you have the Supreme Court saying they're innocent. It was all screwed up from the beginning.
Right.
They were set up, blah blah blah. Release them, but you have those on the left, the Democrats saying who don't want that because it goes against what they wanted, and they're going to. So why in the hell should they be able to fight the decision of the Supreme Court? And I'm just pressing hoses.
Well, I guess where I'm at on it is they don't have a right to.
Well, they don't. But
the Supreme Court makes a decision, and it's the decision of the Supreme Court. You can't appeal. I don't know if you can appeal a Supreme Court decision, but who do you appeal it to? You appeal it to the Supreme Court.
You appeal it to God, because that's the next step up. So why are these guys being released?
Well, I don't know. And where people are telling me they've seen clips of video where Nancy Pelosi basically admits that this was her doing. I don't know what language she used, because I have not actually watched any of them. But if she is telling people that this was her doing, then these people that were arrested, they're not arrested. They didn't break any laws. They just were there, and whatever happened, because it appears that close to 75% of the people that were involved there
were invited.
Were government. Were government 3-letter agencies that somehow were recruited and got involved. And she's admitting now that she didn't want the 10,000 troops, the 10,000 National Guard troops that President Trump offered several times during the day. And, Mike Pence, on the other hand, I still think that Mike Pence, the Republican vice president, is guilty of something. And the only thing I can figure to pin on him to get him into a court is that in the Senate, on the certification of votes session, the rules are very clear. It's roll call A to Z of state. And it's like Alaska. The Alaska senator steps up and says, I am whoever from the great state of Alaska. We have 1 trillion votes for Trump and 500 million votes for Biden. Or the other way around. We have 500 billion votes for Biden and 3 votes for Trump. We want to file a protest. We have served the proper papers with the Senate clerk, which Pence would then look over at the Senate clerk and confirm that, and the clerk would confirm that, and then they go on and they call all the states. So they record all the states that accept their votes and certify to certify them, and they then list all the states that want to do a formal protest, which is allowed under the rules of the session. And then they go into the actual A to Z, all the states that had a protest. He didn't do that. He decided he wasn't going to hear the protests. He just went through, and if they said they protested, it didn't matter. Then after all the states, all 50 states had recorded their votes with the Senate clerk, he said, boom, this is it, certified. Biden won. So he broke the rules. I think Pence knew that his doing that would immediately launch the J6 events that they, and Pence being a they, understood was going to happen. Part of their coup, per se, to bring Biden in 2020. And, I'm tired of hearing Democrats say, well, it was a coup, Trump this, Trump that. No, it seems to me more and more every day, it was a coup of Democrats saying, we're going to do this and you're going to accept it. And 3.5 years later, nobody does accept it. Well, very few people actually accept that the vote was right.
So it looks like Putin's already making plans to talk to Trump about bringing the war to the end. Apparently, there's some backroom discussion between the two of them, which is starting to leak out. And they got new polls suggesting a landslide victory for Trump. I'm glad these people are so.
It's not leaking out. Trump at his rallies has been very clear to say, I can talk with Putin and Zelensky, and I can end this thing within 1 hour. And he's been saying that as long as he's been rallying. So, yeah, he must be in contact with Putin all the time, and I would believe that he would. I would agree that he is. From what I understand, they are both master 5-level chess players, and that I can't even imagine playing 5-level chess because I can't even play 1-level chess.
So, do we know yet who Trump is choosing as his vice president? I thought the guy is supposed to be at the debate when they had it.
I thought so too. I thought I heard last night. Let me see if the same person. I thought the same person that sent me the other tip said something about rumors. Yeah, last night or yesterday afternoon at 4:40, the same person said heavy rumors. Tim Scott will be Trump's VP. He basically said it without saying it a few days ago during an interview, and then they gave me the interview, which I didn't have a chance. I didn't have a chance to watch, and I promised I would get to it. And if we can, maybe we'll include it in the broadcast tomorrow. I've lightened my policy on importing video only because some lawyers that I have talked to, some conservative broadcasters that happen to be lawyers that I have talked to, said when we do it on Boogie with the Bull, it's under fair use, and they can't say it's not under fair use. But anyway, we'll just move it along this morning.
Do you watch TV programs like Stranger Things or that newer series about Wednesday, the remake of the character from the Addams Family?
I watched some of the Wednesdays, I guess, when it first started. I didn't stay watching it. Other people in the house watched it. We're not much of TV watchers, network TV watchers per se, because we live stream, and it just means that you get the network program the next day. So, if there are network programs that we follow, that we watch, you get it the next day, with the exception of General Hospital. We get General Hospital at 8 o'clock that 8 o'clock that evening. But
so apparently, the reason why I asked is coming out of Hollywood, we have the new season of Wednesday, and it's already having an extreme response from the viewing audience. That they expect it to be another bombshell out of the park success. I watch it because my daughter watches it, right? And
yep.
That's a good excuse.
I wonder if
you watch it because your daughter watches it.
I wonder if it will lead to a spinoff of an updated Addams Family.
Well, her parents, the Addams, the remake, the new versions of her parents do, and Uncle Fester and Lurch are in that series, right? Because they have Lurch, he's driving the car, and Mom and Dad are filthy rich from, I guess, his oil or something. But but at the same time, I get the impression they're like hundreds of years old because they don't die. But Rebecca and I, my wife watch it together. It's like she's freaky. I mean, she plays the part perfectly. Yeah. And her poor brother, Pugsley. He's always getting hurt. So apparently it's. I'm trying to read here if it's actually live now or coming on soon, but looks like it's going to be filmed out of Ireland this time, whereas before it was filmed out of another foreign country. They got Beetlejuice sequel too. Okay, so folks, if you like Beetlejuice, they have a sequel coming out. And the Winona Ryder, she's going to be in it. She played the girl who was doing that dancing while she was floating up in the air. Remember that?
Yeah.
And Tim Burton's going to be the new Beetlejuice. So it's I can't wait for that to come out. That's pretty cool. I just got some things to look forward to. God, I don't do a lot. I don't watch a lot of TV. And I don't pay for live TV. God knows that's expensive as hell. It's like $80 depending on where you go. But then the assholes, they it's like SWAT, right? And SWAT was on regular TV, and they got a really good ratings. So say, let's put this on Paramount Plus, make people pay to watch it. You like the FBI's? Let's make you pay to watch the FBI separately. Oh, you like the CSI's? Guess what? You're paying for those extras as well. Yeah, we want the money. But anyways, I know last night I sounded like a downer, like a end of the world kind of thing. But we have to be realistic. All the stuff that I've been seeing about flying saucers and UFOs coming out across the board. Yeah, a lot. Some of it is is make believe, is AI, so forth. But there is so much of it that is released by police departments, the militaries, the various governments, people with a live video. They are out there. And their interaction with airline pilots, flying their planes and playing, chicken, that kind of stuff. I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know. It would be different if we saw them, gigantic UFO flying over the ocean, sucking up, the water because they need water back on their own home planet.
Didn't they do that in the? It was V.
Yeah,
The series V on NBC. They came down here and they stole water.
Yeah,
and they stole the rest of our resources. And I don't remember if they ended up taking over Earth or if they destroyed it or what.
That's where they're actually lizards under human skin, right?
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think that maybe, in the grand scheme of things, the Democrats came here from other planets and other worlds and other galaxies to take over this one? They were just, they were sleeper cells waiting for the right moment to happen, and they decided that Joe Biden was the right.
What I do believe, based on some of the technology that's coming out, in the military and some government official capacities. I mean, some of the stuff that's coming out, and it's almost like, we finally cracked open that UFO and we got inside and we managed to break, their language and were able to read their scripts and can recreate certain things that they have. I mean, when the TV series Star Trek first came out, okay, and they started showing all these neat things on board their ship, like the various weapon systems, okay. It wasn't too long after that it came out that, hey, we have these weapons. We have the lasers. We have the phasers. We have the handheld weapons. And then they came out with that bed that when they laid down on it, it gave all the statistics of the person's health and so forth. Hey, guess what? We have that. And then they came out with, and then when they started showing the ability to beam someone up to a ship or down to the surface or beam into a cross. Hey, we have that, but it's not quite successful yet.
I still don't know if I would ever try that, because I don't understand, between leaving wherever you are and arriving wherever you're going, where are you? And if you're just floating through space from, say, your bedroom to the Oval Office, what happens if a space rock flies through your body or your matter at the same time you're transporting and knocks out your head, knocks your head off? Are you going to be re-beamed without your head?
Well, from a sci-fi, response, watching a different TV series, from what I understand, is that your bio information was kept in the computer, so that when they dematerialize you and send your information to the, to the other place where you're going, okay, let's say to the surface, okay, that computer of their machinery has received your information, your whole body, the bio, all the molecules, okay, and they received your molecules, and then the computer reanimates your body using that technology. So I don't think that if now, I do know that they proved that, if you were in a firefight, and as you were transported into, safety, if you got hit when you arrived at the, point B, you were actually hit and you were suffering the injuries of it. So yes, so maybe it's possible, like you're saying, if you're being transported across the universe, if a meteorite happens to fly by and takes out half your body, and I guess it's possible you just lost half your body. You wind up being a blob of something on the platform. But I believe they're there. I believe we know they're there. I believe we're communicating with them. That's why the presidents aren't allowed to talk about it. if our experience with UFOs and aliens was just a bunch of malarkey, they would allow the presidents and certain people in government to freely talk about it. But it's like Trump said and Obama said in the interview that they are limited on what they can talk about. So it has to be real. Otherwise, they'd be allowed to talk about it. Because let's face it, politicians love to talk.
Yeah, they are allowed. Well, they should be allowed to talk, but I don't know.
So,
and who decides what they can talk about? Anybody, like people starting to say it is 11:02. I don't want to make you late for anything.
That was my guy. He's back here doing more work on the house.
Okay. But you did tell me recently that you upped the intro to All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy Services from 1 hour to more if people said that.
And that offer ends on Sunday. So it's 10 days. So,
okay.
so if someone responds to me through a direct message that they're interested in my services, and they mention Boogie with the Bull, or they mention what does Raymond always say about his
factual.
Right. If they say actual and factual, or if they just mention Michael Anthony's name, or if they mention the American Rebellion, I would give them 10 days free trial.
Now, what happens if they mention what happens if they mention the American Rebellion? They say Michael Anthony's name. They say Anthony. And they say actual and factual.
It's one off. No. Hey, come on now! It's the one of the whole month free. No. It's for 10 days free trial. It's sort of like when you sign up for a new subscription to a TV show or something. They offer you like 7 days or 10 days free,
right.
And then if you
or you join a health club or get a new cell phone service,
right.
So much time to cancel without getting charged.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a way to show people what I can do. I mean, I have 4 clients right now, so I can effectively bring on 2 full-time new clients. But just in the past couple of days with Shane Melvin, I found out that one of his great grandparents is Native American. Does that make him Native American? I'm not sure. I mean, how does it drain out as far as the DNA? But there's just so much that I can find that people don't realize. And it's like I said, I'll be honest with you, I'm getting depressed. And I said, in yesterday's broadcast, that what I offer as a service is like $3 to $5 a day. Okay. Cost to that person. And isn't it worth you sharing with your family, with your children, with your grandchildren, in history about your family, how they got here, what they went through to get here, how they survived, what they did? To me, that's exciting to learn how my great parents got here and what they went through to get here and to survive. So I'm saying, isn't that worth $3 to $5 a day to share with your family about your family history? And I'm getting the impression that nobody cares, or nobody's watching my broadcasts, and nobody cares anymore. So I'm getting to a point where I'm thinking about this. I'm serious. I'm the kind of guy that needs feedback. I need positive feedback. I'll take negative feedback too. So if you find a mistake or something I did wrong, please correct me, because that's how I learn. And I am not above being corrected. Trust me, my wife does it all the time. And she'll be the first person to admit to, Rand, you're wrong. It's not that.
Randy Rhodes made a mistake. I heard Randy Rhodes made a mistake, and he admitted it was, but he was mistaken that he had made a mistake.
That's right. That's how it works. Anyways, I gotta go. That was my guy down the door.
Before you go, as it says on the screen, on the road to discovering our ancestors. When is that broadcast running? Or is it just...
okay. That's my Sunday broadcast. I did one. You know, it's pretty sad when I do the broadcast about my client's ancestors, and the client doesn't watch the broadcast. And that's pretty sad. You know, and you know what? It takes time to what I do, and that's why I want to try and improve it and enhance the broadcast with more videos, more whatever, you know, bells and whistles. But what I do broadcast and bring across, it takes days of my doing research to find that information. And then when the client themselves don't watch it, it's kind of sad. You know, it's like, why do I do what I do? I mean, I'm not here to hear my own voice.
If we worried about everybody who said they would watch us, but they would watch us if we were on at this time, you'd be doing it 24 hours a day, because you'd have to do 24 different broadcasts each day to accommodate each person that wants to do it. We've been pretty lucky in the 5 years of Boogie with the Bull that most people have been honest. If 10 o'clock wasn't good for them, they would watch the podcast. If 7 o'clock on Tuesday, Thursday wasn't good, they would watch the podcast. I actually did, I think you were with me, we did a rare Saturday morning Boogie just for the hell of it one Saturday, and I think we had 134 people watching at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. So you just have to decide to either pick a time and do it and hope they watch the podcast, or just do it as a podcast and hope they watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
Also here on Facebook, you know that if you're doing a broadcast on something they don't really want you to do, they're going to bury you, and you're going to get 3 people watching you regardless of what time you do it. Anyway, I don't want to. I'm not kicking you off.
Randy to be incinerated live on Facebook on Boogie the Bull. And I'm pretty proud I got 1,000 people watch.
I want one day nothing more than somebody at Facebook to have to sit me down and just go like pick a year's worth of broadcast and show me the actual number of people that were watching. I mean, I don't care if they say that, you know, like right now it says 50 people are watching. Last night it said 150 plus were watching. This morning it said 244 watched last night. And it will grow. It'll go over 300 hopefully before we do tomorrow night. But
I mean, Jerry on the American,
you don't worry about it. And you get to the point where you just don't worry about it.
Jerry on the American Rebellion has been seeing increased numbers since going to Rumble and broadcasting on Wimkin.
He's having good success over on Wimkin, and most of the other broadcasters on Wimkin are conservative or ultra conservative. And the funny thing about it is they all show up on everybody else's broadcast.
Yeah, I might have to give it a look to see if there's a cost involved. It's going to have to wait, but I'll give it a look to see.
Talk to him, because I've heard from other people there is a way that there is no cost. Otherwise, there is a cost. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to pay the cost of Wimkin. I have decided I'm going to pay the cost of Rumble. I'm just not sure when.
Yeah. I got to get going. See ya.
All right. Okay. Randy Rhodes, our roads lead to genealogy services. Like you said, now you get 10 days. If you mention Michael Anthony, Jerry Michaels, the American Rebellion, me, Boogie with the Bull, William Rayfield, the Patriots Lab, probably Jen, the homeschooling mom. So if you give him some indication that you heard about it from anybody on Facebook, he'll give you 10 days. And, you know, he will find a lot if you want him to find a lot. And he will look. You get a month, and you get usually a few hours a day a month at least per the number of people that he takes. He doesn't take on more than he will be able to give everybody a fair amount of access to his time. And he does live live, sleep, breathe, eat genealogy. He is having some difficulty with uh, all roads lead to the Ancestors broadcast because Sunday at 7 o'clock can be a tough time. But if you're around and you're interested, give it a watch. And while you're watching, give it a share to wherever you think you can share it to on Facebook. Invite your friends to watch too. That's the best way to do it. Just find a time that you want to do it, and hopefully that works for everybody else. And if it doesn't work for everybody, they'll watch the podcast. Like I said, we had 153, 159 watching live last night, but our numbers always go up when Ray has the Patriots Lab Network linked to us. So it was a great broadcast. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., open discussions again. It's open to anyone who wants to be on, usually up to about a maximum of about 4 to 6 people. It gets a little hard on the Chromebook screen right now to deal with more than 6 people. But you've seen it. It's generally just an open discussion. Sometimes we usually start with the politics, news of the day, and then go around and kick a few other subjects and end up back closing with the politics of the day. So if you like that, give us a watch and give us a share. We'll be live on my profile here on Facebook and about 1,000 groups on Facebook, and then on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel where they live chat, and then over you follow me on on X at Boogie WT Bull. When I remember and I am capable of doing it during a broadcast, we will live link it to social. We'll live link it to MeWe. We'll live link it to Gab. We'll live link it just about everywhere. We will live link it to StreetLock as often as we can, because StreetLock gets access to the Believable YouTube channel. So you can be involved in the conversations, whether it's 10 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock at night. Anyway, I'm Dave Williams. Thank you for the privilege of letting me abuse your time. Drink some caffeine, go out there and make it a great day. If you're out in the area where the storms are coming to, please be very careful. Please be very careful. Don't do anything stupid. Don't be out when you shouldn't be. And if it's hot where you are, again, please don't do anything stupid. Stay hydrated where you are. Wear a hat. Slather your head with sunscreen, which I don't do, but I should do. Don't be stupid like me. Do it. And come back and see us tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, everywhere. Everywhere. That's all I can say. Double V's for victory. This Boogie was Bull broadcast has come to an end. We did not play anybody's copyrighted material. We talked about copyrighted material and fair use, and we will continue to do that in the future as we do it. I don't know what will happen with anything from CNN's debate being used on any broadcast, because they did say that YouTube broadcasters would be nailed for copyright violation if they did in fact use any of it. People that consult me tell me that fair use is fair use, and they can't say that fair use is not fair use. So I honestly don't know. I don't think they really want to see it in the media where they went after a billion small-time guys like the No Budget Broadcasting Company for not really doing anything wrong in what we have done the few times that we've played portions of the CNN thing. If they didn't want everybody to see Joe Biden being escorted off the stage by Dr. Jill, they would have made sure that the cameras were turned off, and we didn't see that happen. Anyway, live well, prosper, have a fantastic day. Go eat breakfast. We fed the dog and the cat early today, so they are covered. But go to the Family Treasures Facebook page. Family Treasures Facebook page. I'll go down right now and take the link and put it on my profile. Go to the Family Treasures Facebook page. Take a look around. It was the beautiful handcrafted crochet items that my wife and our daughter-in-law make. And from time to time, they'll be told where they're going to be selling them. If you're in the area, stop by, say hello, take a look around, buy something. It makes fantastic gifts. It makes fantastic stuff for yourself. I got stuff all over my desk. And unfortunately, I'm the guy that every time my wife makes something, I say, you got to make it red, white, and blue. So for Halloween, I got a red, white, and blue pumpkin. For, I don't remember when I got this, but this is my buddy, my octopus. I haven't named him yet. Maybe we'll have a contest to name him and give him a name. But he's always with me when we do a broadcast. This is my favorite. This is the bomb. So I mean, I guess I wish my wife would make more of these because she could just sell these. And when people go, Randy Roach is the bomb. Show the bomb. I really wish it was the F bomb that it was going to be, but the red F never arrived. So anyway, Robin Sachs is watching. I see Robin Sachs is watching. Robin is active all over Facebook in Republican groups and conservative groups, and you should search that name. And because my mind is slipping because I can't remember anything off the top of my head that I should. But make sure you look up Robin Sachs and get involved in some of the groups that she has, and pay attention to what she's saying when you're on Facebook. And even if you get an opportunity, ask her where else besides Facebook she is at. And the only reason I'm going to say that is you never know going into presidential elections what Facebook is going to do, who they may give vacations to so they can't be on Facebook until after the election, and whatever else. They've been pretty good to me right now. Right now, they slapped me with an hour restriction for making comments in groups that they don't like, or a couple hours, or even 6 days. I can't do it, but we have a fantastic admin team working with us here in the Boogie with the whole family and groups and the other groups that I am an admin in. So we all stick up for each other. But anyway, if anything were to happen that I am not on Facebook and lose it for the election and will come back before the inauguration, and YouTube were to do the same thing, you will probably find us on LinkedIn and Rumble, because that seems to be where everybody goes. And on that note, right now, we're going to give the Chromebook a rest because it's getting old. We found out actually it is not about to lose its life. According to Google, its Chrome will be updated through August of 2027, the end of August 2027. So it still has another 3 years that it will be around. It does have does have keyboard issues because I got mad when they lost my temper trying to set up a Boogie with a Boom broadcast and hit the right side of the keyboard pretty hard, which I should not have done. Kids don't attempt to do that at home because it will definitely hurt your computers if you do it. And we may make another decision. These Chromebook that I have are not very expensive right now, used, and I may just buy a stack of them, and if I break one, then I have another one. Anyway, good morning, Barbara Emmons. I'm glad you were able to catch a part of the broadcast. I'm doing well today. I would do well most of the time because if I could, I would just do a broadcast every single day and every single night, maybe once in the afternoon. But that would drive the rest of the family that live in the same space that I do crazy. It drives my wife crazy a lot too. So one of these days when we acquire a she shed for my wife and desk space for me, maybe. But actually, I'm really happy. I actually feel good today. I'm going to take my wife for the beautiful cup of coffee that she gave me this morning. But I am trying very hard to make sure does not get knocked over on any of the electronics equipment here. The best advice I can give you is that any liquid beverage on your desk near your electronics equipment is not a good idea, regardless of how good you think you have control of knocking things over. Anyway, it's 11:22. The voice phone just rang, so it's time to say bye before 11:30. We will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And if you're interested in being in on the Thursday night live broadcast, please message me by 6 p.m. tomorrow evening and we will work you in, or come into the live chat on the Dave Logan profile and ask for the link, and we will probably bring you in. Daryl Rector, we hope one of these days to get him in, but he's really busy. He's rebuilding his studio, and he's busy at work, and he's not always available. Nikki Young, hopefully we'll get Nikki to come in one of these days and do the teabag trick, because that's one of my favorites and it makes me laugh. I've said some other broadcasts, but it really makes me laugh when I see it, and he does it. And maybe we'll get Robin Sachs on too. Maybe Barbara Evans will come on too. Like I said, it's really open to anybody. Anybody who wants to come on and just have a little bit of fun. We're not as big as the other guys. We're not a Bongino. We're not a Bannon. We're not a Jones. We're not a Glenn Beck. We're not a Tucker Carlson. But you know what? I have fun. People that watch us have fun. And maybe one day we'll find a network and we'll find out that there might be a million people watching us. I don't know. Anyway, it's heavy breathing that I hear in the background, which means give the Chromebook a rest. Give me a rest. I'm actually hungry this morning. I don't know what we're going to have for breakfast. So Double V's Victory, this Boogie with a Bull broadcast is going to come to an end because I hit the first end button. It's going to come to an end right about now.